Hello everyone, it's Wednesday, March 25th, and I want to give you a little update on what's the situation with this pandemic. This is going to be a brief video. It's basically just a trial to see if I can get some media to work together, and I will continue to keep doing this on a regular basis, and then I will post a discussion forum just to talk about this pandemic. These are the numbers for today. There are approaching 500,000 people that are infected officially in the world with this pandemic. That does not cover anyone who has not been tested and found to be positive. So probably the number is much, much higher than that. There are almost 20,000 deaths at this point, and a little over 100,000 people have recovered. If you look at the graphic here, what you can see in the total cases is that this was the bump from China. When we were talking in class in the beginning, this is what we were looking at. And then it started to recede as China did its mandatory social distancing techniques and methods and isolations. China really got pretty draconian about it, and they were able to reduce their cases quite a bit. But then it began to take off in other parts of the world, and now it's just really going exponential here. If we look at this with a logarithmic scale, meaning that you're going from 10 times with each of these levels, multiplied by 10, you still see that you're having logarithmic increases here, which is very troubling and very concerning. It's also the same thing with the deaths. You can just see how it's just spiking upwards so quickly, and that's what everyone's worried about. Here at logarithmically, you see the same thing. But if you look at the countries, right now China still has the most cases, but they're climbing very, very slowly. Italy, it hasn't reported in yet today, but if you look at yesterday's cases, you can see Italy has huge numbers of people dying every day here. This is from March 14th. The United States is climbing very quickly. We also have the highest number of new cases by far of any country in the world at this point. You can see by this map how it's just spread everywhere. There's hardly any country at all that hasn't reported a case of this somewhere. And if you look at the percentages, what we're finding is that the death rates here, you have number one is Italy, number two is Spain, and number three is China. And you can see just how crazy high the percentage mortality rates are in some of these places. In a country that's afflicted the worst in Italy, it's almost 10%, 7.2% in Spain. Here in the US, we're just at 1.5%, but that's likely to increase as well as the numbers come in. It doesn't mean that this is going to be the final mortality rates in these countries. This is just what we know right now based on the cases that we know about right now. In the end, probably these numbers will change quite a bit. It is really concerning that they're this high. I'm not going to fool you or say otherwise. Overall, the mortality rates for the whole world are 4.5% up here. Again, very, very concerning. So it's because of these numbers that countries and even our own and our state is doing what it can to try to fight this pandemic. The goal is to keep the curve from spiking too quickly. And I'll throw up a graph here so you can take a look. If you look at these two curves, the blue one without measures and the orange one with measures, you see the difference in how the epidemic would present itself over time. Without any socially distanced measures, the death rates would spike and hit all at once. With measures, it would spread them out, and we wouldn't get as many people in the hospitals at once, and that's really the key thing. If we can keep people from overwhelming the hospitals, then the death rates will be lower, because it is hospitalization and good care that keeps the death rates low. Without that, then you would have much higher death rates. So this is the critical reason why we are all isolated and having this class online. Here's a comparison between COVID-19, the SARS epidemic, and H1N1. These are the three last pandemics we've had. As you can see, COVID-19 is a whole new ballgame. This is much more serious than we've ever experienced before. This is going to be tough for a lot of people, and it's going to cause some anxiety, some fear, feelings of loss, abandonment. And so we need to figure out ways to cope with this kind of social challenge that we all face. Here's some things that you can think about that might be helpful to you. Staying connected by phone or electronically with your friends, playing video games with others, setting up video chats. Do it on a regular basis. Do it as much as you can. The other thing is to practice just being mindful and any kind of relaxation exercises that you know or you can try. YouTube is a great resource to find new and interesting techniques that you can work on. Keep your current connections strong, whoever you're home with. Make sure that you work on having good relationships with them. And then hopefully we can all stay informed through reliable sources, as I'm going to be doing with you today. Make sure you eat healthy, drink plenty of water, do some home projects, start a garden. If you can, go for walks, go outside while you maintain social distancing, go for hikes in the woods. That's all good stuff you can do. And what I'm going to do again is maintain a post for us to all talk about this on our Blackboard site. So take good care, my friends. We'll get through this together, and I will post more information soon about the class, and let's go from there. Bye.